Today, I will be discussing the banners to pull as a Pace Chaser main. I've had a lot of people saying they've enjoyed the frontrunner version, so thank you for that. As a disclaimer, I'm not a JP player by any means, so this is all purely based on my research and my own understanding. So if I miss any good banners, then please let me know. Coming up first, we have the Supercreek Halloween banner and the Rice Shower Halloween banner. What you want to aim for this banner is Halloween Supercreek. The main reason you want to pull for Halloween Supercreek is not herself as a runner, but for her unique. So she's a good parent. If we take a look at her inherit right here, if you're in the front after the final corner and about to overtake another girl, your speed and acceleration will increase. So what this means is that it's a really good inherit if the last spurt of the race is at the straight. So it increases your speed and your acceleration. So for example, on this Tokyo 1600 meter turf, if we take a look here, the last spurt starts on the last straight. In this particular race course, Supercreek unique is really good. What's really funny about this is that Supercreek herself has really bad aptitude on short and mile distance races, and she's only good at medium and long. But her unique skill is only really good on short and mile distance racetracks. So for example, if we see the medium and the long version of this Tokyo turf at the 2000 meter, the final straight starts here. So this unique is not as that good. If we take a look even further for the long type of the map, the final straight starts here. Her unique is not really good on herself, which is kind of ironic. She also has some decent skill, like Professor of Curvature and Mystifying Murmur, which you can also run her as a debuffer. So yeah, I just want to point out that her unique is usually also paired with El Condor's Pasa unique. If we see right here, El Condor Pasa's unique in the JP version is that the condition is at the last straight, and it increases your speed and acceleration basically. Moving on to the next banner. This is a banner that you must pull if you want to run Pace Chaser or Late Surger. What you want to aim for in this banner is Xmas Oguri. She is like the most busted unit at the time of release. You should definitely get her. Even if you're not like a Pace Chaser main, I hope everyone that watched this guide actually pull for this character. Why is Xmas Oguri really good? If we see at her stat bonus, she has 15% speed bonus, she has 15% stamina bonus, her distance aptitude is good on mile, medium, and long as well. But what makes her very strong is her unique skill. If we take a look here, if you activate at least 3 recovery skills, then in the second half of the race, your speed and acceleration increase. You will also recover more stamina on top of it. If you don't understand why this skill is really strong, then just take a look at this. You get increased speed, you get increased acceleration, and you also get stamina recovery. It does everything on this unique, which is insane. What's even better is that you can manipulate how to activate the skill, because the condition to activate the skill is that you need to activate at least 3 recovery skill. So you could activate like 2 recovery skills, for example, Swinging Maestro and another recovery skill. And for the last one, you probably want to guarantee like where you activate it, for example, 777. If you activate 777 as your last recovery skill, if we take a look, for example, at this Tokyo 2400 racetrack, the 77 meter is right about here, where about the late race or the last spurt is about to start. So if she activates her unique skill right about this point, then she will just straight up win the race, because the speed and the acceleration will help her reach the top speed really quick. She also has Gourmand as her innate gold recovery skill and innate experience, which is the gold version of the inside scoop. The next banner that you should really pull is Nishino Flower banner. Nishino Flower is the best parent inherit that you want on Pace Chaser. This is like even way better than the Halloween Supercreek. And I really recommend if you're planning on playing Pace Chaser, then please definitely pull this banner. She's about the same strong as if you consider you're pulling for Seiun Sky as a frontrunner. So for Nishino Flower herself, she has 15% speed bonus and 15% power bonus, and she's only good on short and mile distance. But what makes her really good is this, her unique right here. If you're trying to push for the front near the end of the race, your acceleration will increase. Now the only downside of this skill is that the precondition. At the phase 1 or like the early race, you need to be blocked on the side by about 2 seconds. So what makes this unique really strong is this when it actually activates. So on the late race of the part, if it's on the final corner later half, or if it's on the final corner and it is a straight. The other activation requirement is that it also needs to be either in the 3rd position or the 4th position, but you'll achieve this anyway since you're running a Pace Chaser. If we take a look at the Tokyo 1600-meter turf, for example, so what this means is that final corner, later half. So this is the final corner, right? And there's like the first half. So if you cut this section in the middle, there's the first half of the section and the second half. So it should proc somewhere around here. But what makes Nishino Flower unique is really strong. It also has another condition, or final corner, and it's on the straight. So what this means is that technically any point beyond this final corner later half until the straight, she can also activate her unique. So it's really, really strong. Now, I believe how this works is that since it's an either condition, the game will decide by itself which acceleration point is better to activate this. And also, if we take a look at Taiki Shuttle's unique, it's the same thing. But the difference is that the only activation point for Taiki Shuttle unique is final corner later half. So Taiki Shuttle unique will only activate at this point. Now I'm pretty sure it's really confusing how to visualize between shooting for victory and Nishino's flower unique. So let's take a look here. For example, the Tokyo 1600 meter that we discussed before. The red line is Taiki Shuttle's unique and the blue line is Nishino's flower unique. As you can see here, Taiki Shuttle's unique always proc on the final corner and the later half. So it means this is the final corner, right? And the half point way through is where it procs, so it procs here. However, Nishino's flower unique, it can proc any point beyond the final corner later half. It procs here on the last spurt final leg, so it's really strong. It doesn't mean that it has to proc on the straight as well. It can proc any point after the final corner later half. If we see here as well, on the 1800 version, Nishino's flower unique proc here. So it's about a bit after the final corner, and it's not even on the straight, but it's just any point beyond the final corner. Same thing here. So if we take a look at the 2000 meter, I believe how this works is that it always chooses the best outcome for you. Since the better outcome for the unique, it's here because the final leg procs around here, then Nishino's flower unique will proc at the final corner and not the straight. Now that we've discussed how her unique skill works, we can see her kit on its own. There's not really much, to be honest, on Nishino Flower herself. She has decent skill like the winds and straight down resolution, although I'm pretty sure acceleration skills on a downhill is like very niche, and it only works on like very specific tracks, so it's like not actually really good. Moving on, we have the first banner for the support card. It's a Daiwa Scarlet Power Card banner. Let's see why this card is actually good. If we take a look at her effects, it's actually really garbage. It doesn't have any special priority, it doesn't have any training effectiveness, but what we're looking for is her hints. She has a really good hints for her support card, for example this, passing preparation, but what we really want from her support card is this right here, fierce competition. What this skill does is, if you're a pace chaser, and during the first half of the final leg, if you're in first half of the pack, your acceleration will increase. So if we take a look here, what this means is that face first half random 2, when it's on the late race, it always procs somewhere near where the late race is actually starting. Although it might be a little bit RNG, but it's still a really good acceleration skill to take. Coming up next, we have Taiki Shuttle and Mejiro Dober camping version. Taiki Shuttle is one of the best space chaser in the mile distance. However, the only downside is that it's very hard to inherit her own original version unique. As you guys might know, shooting for victory is a good unique. Now let's take a look at Taiki Shuttle camping version. It has 30% boost on power, which is crazy if you consider about it, and she's good at the short distance and the mile distance. Her unique skill is basically just a bunch of speed ups. So if there's 200 meters remaining in the race, your target speed will increase if you're near the front, and you'll also immediately speed up if you're close to the first position. Why is this skill good is that it also increases your current speed as well as the target speed. Current speed is good because it helps you reach your target speed actually faster. She also has a ruler of mile, which is specific to mile distance race, where if you're in the first half of the pack, during the second half of the opening leg, your speed will increase. And this is what makes her good as well. As I have mentioned before on the Daiwa power card, she has this skill called Fierce Competition. So it's a skill where you increase your acceleration. So yeah, she's basically just a really good pace chaser on mile distance race. Coming up next, we have Tamamo Cross, the festival version, and an Inari 1 festival banner. On this one, you want to aim for the Tamamo Cross festival. Her stat bonus, she has 14% on speed, 8% on stamina, 8% on guts. Her distance aptitude is medium and long. What makes her really good is her unique skill. So if you've activated at least 2 skills during the middle leg, your speed will increase. Bonus speed for every activation, maximum twice. So it's basically just a character where you want to activate as many middle leg skill as possible. So you want to put skills like Prem Up, Playtime is Over, Slipstream, every middle leg skill possible onto this character. As she stacks up the middle leg skill very hard, actually happens is that since she has so much middle leg speed, she ends up overtaking the front runners. And you can also inherit Seiyuu Sky unique even onto this character. Her kit herself, she also has Killer Tune, which is just more speed for the middle leg, till head high, more speed for the middle leg as well. Now I'm Palm, also more speed for the middle leg. Coming up next, we have Narita Brian, the Blaze version. So Narita Brian is a pace chaser designed for the long distance track. Let's take a look why she is actually good. If we take a look at her stat bonus, she has 10% speed, 10% stamina, 10% on guts. While her distance aptitude herself, she has B on mile, A on medium, and A on long. So if we take a look at her unique skill, it's if you're in the front during the second half of the final corner, your speed will increase. Bonus effect if it's a long race and you were blocked from the side during middle leg. So this skill is only really good if you run her at a long distance. If we can see right here, if it's on the long distance track, then the increased target speed, it jumps to almost over half the initial effect. She also has a Hot Pursuit gold skill, which is if you try to overtake someone in the second half, your speed will increase. This is what makes her really good. Is her gold skill called the Monster. So if you run her as a pace chaser on the long distance race, if you're within 10 meters from the lead around the end of the middle leg, then in the final leg your acceleration will increase. This skill is really good because the activation for the skill is that you only need around less than 10-meter distance from the first place. So most of the time, you're almost pretty much guaranteed to activate your acceleration on the final leg if you take this skill. Her evolved version, she also has the upgraded version of Hot Pursuit, which is just more speed, and the upgraded version of Monster as well. More acceleration on top of her initial Monster skill. Next up on the list, we have K.S Miracle, the Guts support card. Why is this card actually really good? If we take a look at the effect, it's actually a pretty decent card. It has friendship bonus, mood bonus, specialty priority, race bonus, fan bonus. It's just missing an increased training on its kit. However, the main reason you want to pull for this card is this gold skill. First competition is a really good acceleration skill for the pace chaser, and technically if we take a look at her kit itself, it's overall better than the Daiwa Scarlet power card. So this is a better banner if you want to pull for the Fierce Competition gold skill. The next banner that you might want to pull on is TM Opera or Wit card. Let's take a look why this card is actually good. It's actually a pretty decent Wit card by itself. It has almost everything you want in this kit. The hint itself is not too bad, although it's mostly specifically designed for the long distance race. But what we really want from this card is this right here, her gold skill Monster. Pace Chaser Acceleration skill, which is exclusive to Narita brand at the time it was released. If you are planning on running Pace Chaser on long, definitely grab this card. Coming up next on the list, we have Agnes Tachyon and Silent Suzuka Summer version. Both of this unit is actually really good. Silent Suzuka is a really good Onige frontrunner, and Agnes Tachyon herself is a really good pace chaser. Now let's take a look why she is actually good as a pace chaser. If we take a look at her kit, she has 8% on stat bonus, she has 8% on speed bonus, 8% on power, 14% on width. The distance aptitude for her track itself is medium and long. What makes her really unique and really strong is her unique skill right here. If you're in a good position on any corner during the second half of the race, your speed will greatly increase. In Nakayama course, your acceleration will also slightly increase. So the main reason you want to run Agnes Tachyon is if it's specifically on the Nakayama race course track, because he also gets an acceleration skill if it's on the Nakayama racecourse. She also has this Singularity Green skill, which actually increases your speed by 60 and even further by 20 if your wisdom is at least 1200. So that's like 80 speed on top of your speed cap. She also has head-to-head, which is a decent acceleration skill for pace chaser, and she also has a gold skill called Unstoppable, which is just additional speed at a random point in the middle leg of the race. Now she gets a better version of the Singularity gold skill, and it adds up to 100 speed to your speed cap. She also has the evolved version of Unstoppable, which is basically just more speed on top of it. The next banner that we have on the list is El Condor Pasa speed card and Mei Satake friend support card. This banner is really good, and I also recommend you pull on this banner because Mei is also a friend card for the L arc scenario, while El Condor Pasa herself is a really good speed card. If we take a look at the unique effect, it gains skill point and all stat bonus when the bone gauge is full. If you think about it, this is actually pretty good. We get a skill bonus and an all-stat bonus on top of it. It also has a decent specialty priority, good starting bonds, and just a bunch of good effects overall. It's a really solid card. There's nothing really too crazy about the hits here, but what's really good about this card is that you can either choose between these two gold skill. It's either Professor of Curvature, which you can get from Kita-san Black, and this skill right here is why you want to pull it for a Pace Chaser. So this skill called Check. If you're either a Pace Chaser or a Late Surger, if you're on the final corner in the final leg, and you're not in the back of the pack, and there's at least 600 meter remaining in the race, your acceleration will greatly increase. Now, this acceleration skill is actually only really good on like a long distance track, because if we take a look, for example, at the 2000 meter Tokyo turf, the activation condition is that it's beyond like the final corner and there's like 600 meters remaining. And if we take a look at the skill visualizer, if we take a look at this check skill, it always procs right before the final leg or the final spurt, which is actually really nice because we get the most effect out of the acceleration skill. So technically this is the final corner, right? And there's about 600 meters remaining, and that's why this skill can activate. For example, if we take a look further in the 2300 meter race course as well, the final corner is actually right here. And it also has 600 meters remaining. In this case, it's 700 meter, and the skill actually procs right here, according to the skill visualizer. Now, for example, for the 2400 meter Tokyo race course, the final corner is actually a bit beyond the final like spurt, and this is like a better acceleration skill even than the shooting for victory and Nishino's flower unique, because they proc like actually at the final corner and not the final corner later half of the part. The next banner that you have on the list is SSR Mcqueen with card. So it's actually a really good with card with all the stuff you want. Friendship bonus, mood bonus, starting one up as well, especially priority. Basically, it's a really good card. And on top of that, if we take a look at the hints itself, it's basically just screaming Pace Chaser at this point. Pace Chaser skill, another for Pace Chaser, Tell Head High. This is all for Pace Chaser as well. Yeah, the main reason you want to be pulling is for her support here. It's a bunch of good white skills for the Pace Chaser, and it also has two of the acceleration skills, and Head to Head, which is the white version of Fierce Competition, and Honing In, which is the white version of Laser Focus. This card also has a gold skill called Zenith Flying, which increase your speed if you're in the first half of the pack at a random point in the middle leg. Next up on the banner list, we have Rhein Kraft. She's actually a good pace chaser for the mile and sprint distance, but specifically for the mile distance. She has a 15% bonus on power and guts. That's actually not the best. Her distance itself, she is very good on short, mile, and medium. Now, why did I say she's really good on short and mile distance? If we take a look at her unique herself, if you're in the middle of the pack on any corner, during the first half of the race, your speed will increase, and you get a bonus duration in short and mile distance. On top of that, she has a gold skill called Reckless, which is exclusive to the mile distance, where if you're in the first half of the pack, during the second half of the middle leg, her speed will increase. She also has the acceleration skill of Fierce Competition. By this point, I already explained this skill pretty much, but this skill is a good acceleration skill. She also has the Evolve skill and the upgraded version of Reckless, which is just more speed, and the upgraded version of Fierce Competition, where she gets the acceleration, and on top of that, if there's 200 meters remaining in the race, then her speed will also increase. Now, the next banner that we have is Supercreek Warfare and Yaeno Muteki Warfare version. This banner right here is actually pretty decent, because both of these units is actually a good pace chaser. Now, why is Supercreek Warfare version really good? If we take a look at her kit, she has a 10% bonus on speed, 13% bonus on stamina, and 7% bonus on width. And her distance aptitude is medium and long. What makes her really good for long distance races is her unique. So if you're in a good position but not leading, during any middle or leg corner, your stamina will recover. And in medium and long races, your speed will also recover. So she gets a really good stamina recovery, and on top of that, she gets bonus speed. Looking at her gold skill, she also has the Unstoppable gold skill, which increases her speed. This is what makes her good for long distance as well. She has the Monster Gold skill, which is the acceleration skill for the pace chaser on a long distance racetrack. Her Evolved skill is Unstoppable, which is just more speed on top of it, and the upgraded version of Monster, which make the activation of Monster more lenient, because the original version is actually only 10 meters, while her Evolved version allows you to be 15 meters from the first position. Yaeno Muteki, on the other hand, is also a pretty decent pace chaser. If we take a look at her kit, she has 6% stat bonus on stam, 12% power, 12% on guts. For her distance aptitude, she's good on mall and medium. There's nothing really crazy on her unique skill. This skill is like a little bit hard to actually proc because there's too much condition on it. What makes her good though is she has the check loop skill, which also has hot pursuit, one of the gold skill, which increase your speed. For her evolve skills, she has the better version of check, which just increase her speed during the first half of the last spurt. The better version of hot pursuit as well, just more speed on top of it. Coming up next on the banner list, we have Agnes Tachyon, the alt version, or the version where she has the monocles. This version of Agnes Tachyon is a good page chaser, and what's really unique about her is that she can boost her ally speed. So basically a buffer for your whole party, which is actually pretty unique if you think about it. If we take a look at her kit, she has 14% speed bonus, 8% bonus on power, 8% on width. For aptitude, she is good on medium and long. Let's take a look at why her unique skill is also really good as well. So if you're in the first half of the pack during the final leg, your target speed will greatly increase, and in medium race, you will receive an immediate great speed boost instead. What this means is that instead of the target speed, if you run her on a medium racetrack, then she will get an increase on current speed instead. So for example, your current speed is right here. So target speed is right here. If you activate this unique skill, then the current speed will be trying to reach the target speed. However, if you activate this unique skill on medium racetrack, then your current speed will automatically jump over here. So you don't need to take some time to cover in the acceleration to reach your target speed. She also has a gold skill called Gamma Ray Burst, which is gold skill which increases her speed. She also has another gold skill called Umamania. It's basically the better version of Umastan. If there's at least 3 other girls near you, then after 5 seconds, your speed will increase. She has also the evolved version of the Gamma Ray Burst, which is called FTL Particle, and it increased her speed even further on medium racetrack. So basically, this version of Agnes Tachyon is just very, very good on the medium racetrack. This is one of her really good skill, Umamania Evolve skill. So if this skill activates, you also slightly increase the speed of all your teammates. So imagine you can also boost your speed from the other Umas. The next banner that we have is North Flight. So North Flight itself is a good page chaser for the mile distance. If you take a look at her kit, she has a pretty decent stat bonus, which is 20% on speed, 10% on width, and for the distance itself, she's pretty good on mile and medium. Why is she actually really good on the mile distance is her unique skill. If you're in a good position, but not leading during the final corner, your speed will increase. Bonus duration in the mile race. So she gets 1 second on top of it if it's a mile distance race. Her gold skill is basically just bunch of speed boosts. For example, now I'm pumped, it increases speed when overtaking during the middle leg. This is where I mean she's really good at the mile distance. It's because of this skill called high voltage. So if it's on the mile distance race, if you're in the first half of the pack during the first half of the final leg, your acceleration will increase. And at this point, we know that if the acceleration skill proc on a really good condition, then it's a good acceleration skill. So for example, in this condition is the first half phase of the late race or the last spurt. And currently, it's only exclusive to North Flight as a character and Gold City Guts card and Rhein Kraft speed card. Her evolve skill is basically just more speed for the high voltage as well. Next up on the list, we have Gentildonna. Gentildonna is a really good pace chaser, and on top of that, she is a limited unit, meaning that you cannot ticket her besides off the banner. So if you really want Gentildonna, then definitely pull on her banner if you want. Now let's take a look why Gentildonna is a really good pace chaser. She has a 10% stat bonus on speed, stamina, and power. For her aptitude, she's basically pretty much good on mile, medium, and long. For her unique skill, Rose Conquest, if you're in the first half of the pack on any corner during first half of the race, your speed will slightly increase, and if you're near the front during the last race, your speed will increase. So this skill right here, if we take a look at the condition, it can activate twice, which means it's a really good unique skill. So the first condition is here, where it's actually the first half. If she activates it, she gets a 5-second increased target speed. And if she activates the skill and she's near at the front on the last trade, she gets another bonus speed on top of it. Now for her gold skill, she has non-stop girl. It basically just increase your acceleration and lane movement speed if you got blocked during the last spurt. Now this skill gets better on the JP version because currently as of the EN version, the lane movement speed is currently not as good in the JP version as they will rework this around the first anniversary. She also has a gold skill called Proof of Strength, which is if you're a pace chaser on the medium racetrack, if you're in the first half of the pack at a random point during the middle leg, she gets an increased speed. So she also has an evolved version of the non-stop girl, which is called Step Aside, which basically makes the whole skill more reliable because if we see in the race of at least 2000 meters at a random point during the first quarter of the final leg, your acceleration and lane movement speed will increase. Or if there's another girl right in front of you, the skill will trigger at the start of the final. What this means is that where there's another extra condition, instead of you only getting blocked by another Uma, you can also randomly block the skill on the race. She also just gets a bunch of more speed here and bunch of more speed here. So overall, she is a really solid Uma for medium and long distance racetrack. Any racetrack above the 2000 meter mark, she's basically pretty good at it. Coming up next, we have the Narita Brian Speed support card and Hishi Amazon Guts card. The main reason you want to be pulling for this banner is Narita Brian's Speed SSR card. For her unique effect, she gets a speed bonus and SP bonus, which is really nice. She also has a 15% increased training, 80% specialty priority, and bunch of other good effects on top of it. Now this is the main reason why you want to be pulling for Narita Bryans. It's her support hints as well. If we take a look here, it's basically just all Page Chaser skill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of it is Page Chaser skill. She also has the Monster Gold skill as a guaranteed from her events. You can also either choose Monster or Breaking Free as well, which is also Page Chaser skill to increase the speed. Another banner that we have is Biwa Hayahide, the Mecha version. She's specialized for the long distance racetrack. She has a 10% bonus on stamina, power, and gut. She also has a really good distance on medium and long. And if we take a look at her unique skill, if you're in the first half of the pack, halfway through the race, your speed will increase. It will increase tremendously if the race is a long distance and you are blocked from the side during any corner. So basically this skill just gets better on the long distance racetrack. However, the activation of it might be a little bit RNG since you need to be blocked during the sides on any corner. And her gold skill called Laser Focus is also a acceleration skill for the Pace Chaser in the long distance racetracks. Some of the acceleration skill is like first half and first quarter. So this is better because it's closer to actually where the last spurt starts. She also has a really good gold recovery skill. So if it's on the long distance at a random point during the middle leg, your speed will slightly increase and your stamina will recover. So it's a gold recovery with a bonus speed on top of it. She gets a better version of the laser focus where she uses a bit more stamina to increase her acceleration. And she gets a better version of her gold recovery skill as well. Now the skill separates become 2. So instead of just proccing at 1, this skill can activate twice. So the first activation is just the gold recovery skill. The bonus speed activates on the later half. So this is actually better because at the right moment, then it actually can have a speed carry over into the late race. Coming up on the next banner, we have Symboli Rudolf with support card and Mejiro Ardan power card. This is also a really good banner if you're planning on rolling. Both of this card is actually really good. If we take a look at Symboli Rudolf, it's a really solid with card overall. It has the speed bonus, wisdom bonus, pretty good skill overall, 80% specialty priority. It also has an innate SP gain bonus on the card and an 20% increased training on top of it, which is actually a lot. Now for her hints itself, there's nothing really too much crazy. There's still head high, there's slipstream, and nothing too crazy overall. But why you want to pull for this card is her gold skill check right here. I've already discussed the skill before. You can choose between this check skill or in the right place. In the right place is basically just the gold version of Slipstream. The other card on this banner was Mejiro Ardan. This card overall is a pretty solid card. You gain a stamina bonus, power bonus, you also get 80% specialty priority rate, 10% on increased training, and a really massive skill point gain bonus here. If we take a look at the support hint itself, there's basically a lot of Pace Chaser skills and mal and medium skill. Why is Mejiro Ardan power card hint is one of you want to pull as well is because of this skill called Surpassing Ambition. It's a Pace Chaser acceleration skill for the medium distance. So if you're in the first half of the pack at a random point during the first quarter of the final leg, your acceleration will slightly increase. So it's an acceleration skill which proc on the first quarter on the late race. This skill is also only unique to Almond Eye and Chrono Genesis. And on top of that, she has either a choice between 2 gold skill which is called Pure Perfection or Curtain Closer. Both of this is just bonus speed skill. Coming up on the next banner is the Almond Eye speed card banner with the legend group friend. This banner is really good. I'm 100% that you need to roll on this banner specifically as well if you run Pace Chaser. Even specifically if you're not running Pace Chaser, this banner is like a really insane banner to roll on because Almond Eye is a really meta speed card and the legend group card itself is a really good friend support card for the Twinkle Star scenario. Let's take a look why this Almond Eye card is really good and it's actually one of the meta cards currently in JP. If we take a look at her her unique effect, she gains a power bonus and she gains an SP bonus. She also has a pretty good effect overall, and if you take a look here, she has a 120 specialty priority rate. If you know why Kito-san is good, then this card just blows Kito-san out of the water. And on top of that, you also gain another speed boost, an initial skill 40 skill points, and more skill points. So this card is not only like a really good speed card, but it's also a high gain skill point bonus card. And she also gained 20% increased training on top of it. It's a really insane card. And if you can, try to get this card to MLB when her banner drops. If we take a look at her hints also, there's pretty much a bunch of speed bonus skills and a bunch of Pace Chaser skill as well. She also has this skill called Surpassing Ambitions, which I already explained on the Mejiro Ardan power card before. This is a Pace Chaser acceleration skill for the medium racetrack. What makes Almond Eye also really busted as a support card is this right here. She has an option to give you either 2 of this gold skill or 2 of this gold skill. By this point, if you know, there's not really much card that can give you actually 2 gold skills. If you think on top of it, it's actually really crazy. Coming up next on the banner, we have Chrono Genesis. This Uma is an insanely good pace chaser for the medium and long distance that is actually below 215 meters. If we take a look at her stat bonus, it's 10% speed, 10% stamina, 10% guts, nothing too crazy. Her distance aptitude is she's good at mile, medium, and long. This is why Chrono Genesis is also a really good pace chaser. If we take a look at her skill, if she's a pace chaser and on a turf track, 14% to the race, your speed will slightly increase. And in medium and long races, the duration of this skill and all evolve skills triggered afterward is double. If you think about it, this skill is actually really crazy because the base duration of her unique is 4 seconds and it gets upgraded to 8 seconds. And on top of that, all her evolve skills is double, which I will cover on later as well for the evolve skill. If we take a look at her gold skill, she has Gamma Ray Burst, which just increases her speed, and a gold skill called to the stage of Rhein. This skill is the gold version of the Pace Chaser acceleration skill on the medium race course, which is why she's one of the best in the medium racetrack. Now, if we take a look at her evolve skill, Forever and Ever, it's just a speed boost on top of the Gamma Ray Burst. But what's really broken about this, if we haven't forget about her unique skill, the duration of this skill will be doubled. So instead of 2.4 seconds, this skill goes up to almost 5 seconds. We also have the better version of To the Stage of the Dream, which is called a Page of Creation. So now instead of only medium racetrack, so the skill actually changes in races between 2000 and 2500 meter. What this means is that even some of the long racetrack is included in this. And her activation skill gets buffed. So if you're trying to overtake someone during the first quarter of the final leg, your acceleration will increase. Or if you're not trying to overtake, this skill will trigger at the random point on the first quarter instead. So basically, it just gets better because if you're trying to overtake, then this skill can really proc at the very start of the late race and you gain massive bonus of acceleration. Or if not, then the skill can still proc on any part of the late race on the first quarter. And if you think about it, this duration is also doubled to 2.4 seconds due to her unique skill. We're nearing the end, and the next banner we have is Cheval Summer and Satono Crown Summer banner. What you should aim for this banner is Cheval Summer. If we take a look at Grand Cheval's summer version, she has a 10% bonus on stamina, 20% bonus on gut, and her aptitude is only good on medium and long. She is specifically really good Uma for a long distance. For the long distance racetrack, if you're in the middle of the pack halfway through the race, your speed and stamina will, and if the race is shorter than 3000 meter, you won't recover any stamina, but the speed effect is stronger. She also has a gold skill called Send It Flying, which increases your speed, and you also get this gold skill called Showdown. So if you're pace chaser, and if you're spurting on any straight, your acceleration will increase. This skill is really good only if the last part of the racetrack is on a straight. If the last part of the track is corner, then this skill is pretty much irrelevant. She's a really solid Uma for a long distance racetrack that the last part starts on a straight. Now I originally want to include Still in Love on the Pace Chaser section, but after further reading on her kit, she actually suits better on the late surger because most of her skill activation actually requires on this impulse skill. And if we take a look at this, her running styles needs to be late surger. If she activates this skill, It's basically able to change her unique skill. It's also able to make a lot of things happen with her evolve skill. As always, thank you for watching, guys. And a huge disclaimer again, I'm by no means a JP player, and this is all purely based on my research and understanding. So if I miss any good banners, I do apologize, and please let me know down in the comments below. And it will also help me and the page chaser mains out there. And I'll also release the version for the late surgers and closer soon. I'll catch you in the next one.